Hello everyone. Look at this oak traveler. It does not scream. It does not run. It simply stands, and in its silence, it grows strong enough to touch the sky. Tonight, let us learn the wisdom of the wood. Let us stop running and start rooting. The Sacred Grove. The stone roads of Rome are hard on the feet, traveler, and harder on the soul. Leave the path to enter the area, which remains completely dark because no sunlight reaches and only gentle breezes move through the space. The ground has reached its limit for your walking because you have walked too long on surfaces that do not yield. Your bones remember every footfall on marble and cobblestone. The Nemi Sacred Grove boundary shows different ground characteristics. One step, and you feel it. The earth gives beneath you. The forest floor contains a dense layer of ancient needles and decaying bark, which has formed into a soft felt material through the natural process of autumnal decay. Your foot drops down half an inch. Your foot stays in that position. The city noise does not follow you here. The trees obstruct sound because they exist at such an advanced age in dense growth. The trees have existed since before your grandfather's grandfather arrived on Earth, and they have absorbed silence from the ground. I am Marcus. I was emperor once. I commanded legions while I wore purple. Empires exist as temporary things which vanish like smoke. The grove exists as a genuine place. I visit this location when all my burdens become too heavy for my body to handle because I can no longer move. Tonight, I will walk with you into the deep places. You need to bring nothing with you. The grove asks nothing of you except that you stop resisting gravity. The light has started to fade. The light has not extinguished because of a lamp being turned off, but it has darkened gradually for 1 hour until complete nightfall. The overhead canopy blocks all sunlight from reaching the ground because its thickness prevents midday light from producing anything but green-gold diamonds. The sun sets behind the hills which border the lake, and the darkness rises from the earth like subterranean water. The entity does not descend from the high position above it. The liquid substance moves up through the earth, which creates gaps between the trees and fills the spots where deer rest. The space contains darkness which does not exist as a vacuum. The space exists as a complete entity. The space contains the odor of decomposition, which represents a process of change instead of a state of death. The space contains quiet nighttime forest sounds as the forest prepares to enter its sleeping phase. Walk with me. The slow pace of our walk requires us to move without any particular goal. The city of Rome exists as a network of streets which connect to all other locations. The Roman city contains aqueducts and forums and senate steps. Every stone has been strategically placed to achieve specific objectives. The area contains pathways which deer use to create routes that follow natural obstacles. The paths led to all locations, while they also lead to no specific destination. The north side of each tree trunk supports dense moss growth, which serves as a navigation tool for people who have lost track of directional concepts, since native people understand only the concepts of wet and dry and bright and dark and living things which sustain other living things. The fragrance exists in the air for you to experience. The sweet and sharp scent of pine resin combines with the unpleasant odor that comes from decomposing timber. The log over there, which has been mostly eaten by shelf fungus, used to be a tree that lived during the time of Augustus. The tree is going through its process of restoration. The process starts when beetles consume the bark, and then beetles transform into soil, which becomes roots that develop into branches. The entire process moves at a speed so minimal that you need to wait an entire lifetime to observe any results. The process maintains its continuous movement. Your own breath has become part of the process. The ferns absorb your exhaled breath. The ferns sustain your existence through their breathing process. The two entities exist in a unified state. My hands locate the oak tree before my eyes establish its presence. I have visited this tree during every trip to the grove. The tree exists from a time period before the Republic. The tree exists from a time period before Etruscan kings ruled. The tree might have existed as a sapling during the time when Romulus dreamed about his wolf-fed visions. I have no knowledge about this matter. The tree does not measure time through the passage of years. The tree uses rings for measurement but keeps its measurements private because its rings remain concealed under bark that is as thick as a Roman soldier's shield. I press my palm against it. The surface has a rough texture. The surface does not have the smoothness which characterizes treated stone. Instead, it displays the unpredictable surface which belongs to living armor. Fissures run vertical, deep enough to hide my finger to the first knuckle. The bark has a plated structure which overlaps like the scales of an ancient creature that discovered long ago that softness belongs only to those who live for a short time. The crevices contain pale green and silver lichen which grows in the areas where rainwater pools and remains damp but does not evaporate completely. I can detect the musty odor of the material which grows extremely slowly so that its yearly growth fits below a fingernail when I bring my nose close to it. The oak tree supports my back while I stand here. The area above the ground contains mainly tree roots. The tree has broken through the soil in a dozen places. Thick cords of wood that Archon dive like sea serpents frozen mid-breach. I settle between two of them, my spine against the trunk. The bark presses through my tunic, uneven and firm. It does not conform to me. I conform to it. My shoulders find the hollows. My skull rests in a depression worn by decades of rain, or perhaps by some other traveler who came here, exhausted, and stayed long enough to leave their shape behind. The tree has always moved at its own speed. Think on that. The tree took its time to grow while empires built their power. The tree consumed time while wars destroyed millions because it silently extended its roots into the clay and stone that lay hidden beneath us. I sent men to die on the Danube frontier. I wrote meditations on duty and death. My body experienced staging through gray hair and stiff joints and diminishing eyesight. The oak did not notice. The oak tree dedicated itself to its essential existence. The oak tree uses invisible channels to transport water, while it transforms sunlight into sugar and retains its hill support through its massive underground root system. The tree's patience spreads throughout the environment. The tree remains undisturbed by your presence because you can either lean on it or picture yourself doing it. The process requires time because it needs time. The process requires time because it needs time. The process exists in its complete form, which displays human effort as equivalent to may-flee insects. The process exists in its complete form, which displays human effort as equivalent to may-flee insects. You start to breathe according to a pattern that exists beyond your control. Your breathing pattern begins at this moment. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. Your lung capacity begins to decline because you exist in the forest which breathes at its own speed. The air you draw in has been filtered through 10,000 leaves. The temperature remains cool during summer. The area contains a slight moisture level. The area contains a high oxygen content in the volatile oils which come from resin and leaf. Let us speak of roots. The oak above us has a twin below. The tree consists of two mirrored sections which show each other. The tree you see is only half the truth. The greater half is buried invisible, working in silence and stone. You have roots too. You have forgotten them. The city teaches forgetting. It teaches that you are a separate thing, a bounded self who needs to fight for everything he has. The older truth reasserts itself in the grove. You are not separate. Your existence is interconnected with everything. You exist in connection with all things. You exist in connection with everything. Your body needs to feel its weight against the ground or the bed that supports you. Your spine extends from the base of your skull through your lower back until it reaches its end point. Your taproot extends from your body. The ancient axis. The ancient axis serves as the main root system which extends smaller roots. The system creates roots which grow from your shoulders and your hips and your legs. The plants are currently starting to develop. The plants are developing at an average speed. The process of development needs time to progress through its various stages of development. The plants are extending their roots through the fabric and mattress, and they are now reaching the floor and foundation, and they are continuing their journey down into the ground and the topsoil and the clay and the bedrock. The roots from your left leg push through the earth, spreading as they descend. The roots encounter stones which cause them to curve around those obstacles. The roots find crevices which they use to wedge themselves into gaps with the same persistence as water and the same patience of geological processes. The roots do not force. The The roots use subtle movements to spread their presence. The roots develop their presence through their subtle movements. The earth, which exists before the existence of force, permits them to move through. The roots descend into the earth while creating a network which connects their various parts to the hill's base. Your right leg roots create a matching network which extends through dark areas of space. The roots exist beyond your vision, yet you experience their presence through your body. A weight appears. A deep feeling emerges. Your body has reached a point which prevents others from moving you. Your legs are becoming substantial. Your body has not lost its ability to move because you have established a new base. Your body has not lost its ability to move because you have established a new base. Your body has paralyzed its movement while your body has achieved better positioning. You are gaining the earth. You are exiting the space of fear-based active movement to establish a connection-based deep stable relationship. Your arms, too. They rest either at your sides or on your chest. From each shoulder, roots descend. The leg roots appear thinner than actual roots, which exist as authentic underground extensions. Your body weight distribution creates a fiber mat which extends through 100 square feet of earth. You are no longer a point of pressure. You exist as a presence which spreads through space, and people accept and hold you. The deepest root of all exists at your spinal base. The taproot that does not branch but doctors straight down to find the water table, which hides the ancient aquifer that runs beneath all hills and valleys, and the hidden river that connects every well and spring and sea. This root moves at a slow pace. The process needs time to finish. The space we occupy here provides us with time as our only resource. The grove functions with time as its only valuable resource. The taproot moves down through clay and through compressed sediment layers, which hold memories of the time when this land existed as a seabed, and through fractured shale and through limestone caves that contain water-carved cathedrals which no human has ever visited. The object moves downwards into the earth until it reaches its ultimate destination, which leads to water. The water temperature remains at a low level. The water contains mineral elements that create a unique taste. The water tastes like stone and iron and the dissolved remains of ancient fish bones. The root system consumes water and causes water to rise from the ground. The rising process occurs at a slow rate. The rising water moves through your body, from the plant root system to all parts of your body. The water moves through your root system. The water ascends through the bedrock. The water ascends through the clay. The water ascends through the soil. The water ascends to your spinal column and your bones and your bloodstream. You are consuming water that comes from the earth. Your body receives energy through connections instead of your physical work. The city hides this truth from your memory. You exist as part of a larger whole. You cannot support yourself without outside help. Your needs get fulfilled through underground sources which exist outside your control and which you did not establish. Your body receives nourishment from the earth. Your body receives nourishment from the sun. Your body receives nourishment from the rain. you provide them with sustenance. Your breath and your body heaten their eventual transformation into soil. The exchange maintains complete equality. The exchange operates as a fundamental law. The exchange exists as a holy ritual. Your weight has increased to your current point. Your current weight does not create any discomfort. The weight of stone exists at the point where it remains stationary. The weight of fruit exists on the tree branch during the time before its agricultural harvest. Your body movements have become lost to your mind, which now believes that walking exists as an optional activity. You possess the ability to move about as you want to do so. The need for movement exists, but you do not have any reason to move. Nothing can maintain its existence at this level of deep settling which has occurred. The forest is experiencing its own process of settling. The final birds have completed their nighttime disputes. The day active animals have gone into their underground homes and their nesting places. The night creatures have not reached their complete state of consciousness. The forest enters its silent period, which lasts for 1 hour each day. The guard shift occurs with such fine details that even insects remaining inside the area will take a break from their activities. The current time frame matches that particular hour. The absence of sound creates a space which does not contain any content. The sound of the surroundings becomes audible when you pay close attention. The oak trunk produces a sound which exists at a frequency that bone structures can perceive but humans cannot. The vibration reaches you because your body contacts the trunk while your skull touches the bark, and solid matter transmits the sound to you instead of your ears, which cannot handle this vibration. The present moment exists in total darkness because all sources of light have disappeared. The greenish light that existed before now has completely vanished. The roots of your body provide all necessary information about your existence. The earth remains in its fixed state. The water levels are increasing. The tree remains in its fixed position. The facts which exist are the only things which hold importance. I will give you information which I acquired during my time in the Northern Frontier campaign. I fought in the Northern Frontier, which extends for 1,000 miles of continuous forest. The territory serves as a silent burial ground for military forces. I learned that fear exists as a mental state while people experience safety through their physical bodies. The mind uses a broken wig to create 10,000 different frightening images. The body possesses knowledge through its ability to experience ground contact in air, temperature, and danger existence. The grove contains your body, which knows everything your mind has forgotten. You exist in a state of protection. You are in a state of protection because no threats exist to you. The world exists in a continuous cycle between dangerous situations and safe situations. The fallen tree serves as a source of nourishment for the young tree. The deer provides food for the wolf, while the wolf dies and transforms into sustenance for the soil, which in turn sustains the deer population. People achieve safety through their active involvement in all aspects of the cycle. people now take part in this activity, your personal limits begin to fade away. This situation does not represent destruction. This situation leads to personal growth. You exist at the point where your body meets the moss. You share the same atmospheric mixture with others. You obtain your drinking water from a common source with others. Your fundamental particles will eventually return to their original ground. The point of separation between two things existed only for convenience during linguistic communication because it created a mental shortcut which helped you move through contractual obligations on financial transactions. The current situation requires you to use the trick because it operates without the need for artificial assistance. You can release it from your grasp. Please let it go. The body no longer acts as a boundary between two separate areas. The body now functions as a membrane which allows substances to pass through its surface. The cool night air moves through it. The scent of pine moves through it. The earth releases carbon and root breath which flows through the space. Your body does not restrict you. Your body undergoes a process of transformation. The process involves you becoming part of the grove's natural breathing cycle. The moss on the oak's north face glows faintly in the darkness. The moss on the oak's north face glows faintly in the darkness. The glow appears to exist, but the light which you see originates from your imagination. The glow appears as a soft green silver light which resembles moonlight shining through leaves, yet there is no moon present. The moss emits its own light through its phosphorescence decay, which creates a cold fire that exists within everything that undergoes transformation. The light allows you to see two things at once: the shapes of roots and stones, the outline of ferns. The deer trail which begins at this point leads further into the grove. You will not follow it. You will not proceed with your journey until later. You will go deeper through your descent. You need to descend into your body. You need to descend into the earth. You need to descend into the area where your mind stops and your body systems maintain their continuous operation. Your body uses automatic processes which include 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 Your body uses 10,000 automatic processes which maintained your life when you were busy with your correspondence and appointments. The system continues to function because all essential parts remain operational. The system continues to function because all essential parts remain operational. The system functions optimally when you stop overseeing it. The system operates effectively when you trust it. The system operates effectively when you realize that your body exists as a place you visit instead of a space you control. Have confidence in them. The water level keeps advancing through your taproot, which now extends to your pelvic area and your abdominal region. Cells consume water, which causes them to expand until they reach their maximum turgid state. The water that flowed beneath the grove 1,000 years ago has now reached this location. The same molecules, which exist in nature, continue to cycle through their natural process. The oak tree absorbed the water through its roots, the water which the Roman army consumed during their time at the lakeshore, the water that the deer drinks. You are consuming historical events. You are transforming into historical events. 1,000 years from now, a traveler will unknowingly consume your essence, which will provide him sustenance. Your heartbeat has decreased until it matches the oak tree's sap flow rate. The body maintains a heartbeat rate of 40 beats per minute. The body maintains a heartbeat rate of 30 beats per minute. The experience feels correct. The experience feels correct. The city displays an intense speed which creates panic through its fast-moving energy. This condition represents the normal state of existence. Living creatures follow this rhythm because they have no doubts about their rightful place in the world. Your thoughts, which have been circling and diving like bats at dusk, now begin to settle. The thoughts exist, but they choose to rest. They fold their wings to rest on branches which they use to achieve complete stillness. Your worries about tomorrow, your regrets about yesterday, and your plans and hopes and fears are visible to you. The birds are sleeping on their perches. The birds have not vanished from sight. The birds exist, but they remain in a state of slumber. Your mind is unbound to think freely when your mind is unbound from their sleep. The grove imparts its lessons to you, which it imparts to deer and boar. The nocturnal period requires animals to stop their activities. The people who travel through darkness should see it as a time to rest. The predator and the prey both sleep, and while they sleep, they are neither. They exist as living beings who radiate heat into the surrounding environment while they engage with the fundamental process of breathing. The Earth currently applies its gravitational force to your body with moderate strength. The force of nature will proceed to bring your body to the ground. The way gravity pulls rain from the sky goes, the way roots pull water from the earth. Your body is descending into the loam, the layers of decayed leaves and decomposed wood. Your body has become part of the grove's floor. The body exists in burial but maintains its life force, the state of being dormant. The seeds in the soil lie dormant through winter. The seeds will stay dormant until spring arrives to grow them. Springtime remains a distant season. The body experiences its longest sleep during the deep winter period. The winter season brings beneficial effects to the world. The winter season serves as an essential period. The trees understand this. They drop their leaves and move their sap to their roots while they enter a period of stillness. The trees remain in their current state without showing signs of movement. The trees remain in their current state without showing any signs of movement. The trees remain in their current state without showing any signs of movement. The trees stay in their current state without showing any signs of movement. The trees wait to see what will happen next. The trees wait with complete stillness. The trees wait to see what will happen next. The trees exist in their current state. The body enters into a period of full restoration when all activities stop. You have permission to take a break. You have been growing, striving, reaching for so long. The city demands it. Grow or be forgotten, produce or be replaced. But the oak does not believe these lies. The oak knows that some years it grows an inch, some years a quarter inch. Some years it simply holds its ground and deepens its roots, and that is enough. That is more than enough. That is everything. Your chest rises and falls. Barely, the breath has become so shallow that it is almost theoretical. A slight movement of air, a suggestion of respiration. But it is enough. The body knows how much oxygen it needs. It is not greedy. It takes what suffices and no more. The darkness behind your eyes is not black. It is deep green, the color of the forest's heart, or deep brown, the color of fertile earth, or deep blue, the color of the lake at midnight. The colors shift and blend, moving like slow smoke, like the northern lights I saw once on the Germanic frontier, curtains of luminescence that defied explanation and did not need it. Now you are so deep, buried in the earth, buried in the body. The boundary between sleep and wake of sinews is lost. You are doing something that is both and neither. You are composting, breaking down to the simplest parts, releasing what is not needed to become what is available to be used by growing things. This is not death, this is rest. Profound, cellular, complete. The grove will hold you. It has held 10,000 sleepers before you. 10,000 travelers who stepped off the stone road and lay down in the moss and lets them sleep. Some rose in the morning, some did not. The grove makes no distinction. It welcomes roots whether they stay an hour or a century. It feeds what feeds it. It holds what lets itself be held. Let it. Now, you have become part of the web of the oak tree. When the dawn breaks, the oak tree will start taking up water from the ground. One of the places that water will come from is you. You will nourish the tree. The tree will also give you sustenance. This contract has existed long before the structures of modern society, long before the concept of self separated from the organic world. Below you, the forest is soft. The floor of the forest has accumulated the organic material from thousands of years of tree deaths. You are lying on the forest's memory of a game of falling. Leaves, needles, beetles, deer, and everything that has decayed and become part of the forest. All of those is breaking down to become the foundation of what comes next. Now, you are a part of that foundation. You have become the sustenance of the soil. When you rise, you will take some of the soil with you, and because of that, the soil will have to be a part of you, and the organic world will also have to be part of you, because the forest subsists in the quiet place of your mind. The forest will be there to greet you when you take a breath. You will find the growth there, but that is a mess that is stored in your head and not for yourself. Tomorrow is not now. Tomorrow is a possibility and a rumor, something that is not yet formed and has not yet existed. right now, there is only this: the darkness, the depth, the roots drinking from stone, the absolute stability of ground that has held this hill since before humans learned to name hills. You are held by the same force, the same patience, the same dark love. Sleep, traveler. The grove will keep watch. The oak will not fall. The roots will hold. And in the morning, if morning comes, you will rise like sap, drawn upward by light you do not yet see, fed by darkness you will not remember but will carry in every cell. Until then, sink, settle, root, rest,